I've been exercising a long time, there are still things like, oh, when I turn my hand out, it feels different. You're most likely not going to do that the first time you go to the gym. That's not the way it works. You're developing a new skill. You're downloading new awarenesses. Then eventually you can make those minute changes.
So week over week, year over year, it's like a lawyer that's been in the industry for 25 years. You can't just make that up in 2 years. And I think that that's really important for everyone to understand, because if you want to be really successful, you're going to have to find the fundamentals and master and remaster them over and over and over again.
Next Level Nation, welcome back to another episode of Next Level University, where we help you level up your life, your love, your health, and your wealth. Today, for episode number 1977, we're going to hit you with a quick 15 to 18 minute episode. Success leaves clues. So Alan and I were talking today, and he said, "What book are you reading?" And I said, I'm reading the book that you suggested. And I'll leave it out because I don't want to disparage the book because it is valuable. It's just, I'll get into it. And he said, "What are you learning from the book?" And I was like, "Dude, honestly, it kind of sucks. It's a really good concept, but then essentially it's just like, all right, now we're going to tell you a story about the concept, and then here's like an interview about the story about the concept." It's like, I get it. I understand now. It's very clear to me what the concept is. I love that. And he said, "Well, what are you learning outside of maybe the book?" And I said, the thing that really is jumping off the page for me now is that when you start to see a concept or a fundamental across platforms. So let's say you watch a TED Talk about vulnerability. And you're like, I don't know about this vulnerability thing. Seems like it's kind of bullshit. Then you see a book about it, and everybody's talking about it. It's like, I don't know. Then there's a Netflix special about vulnerability. It's like, maybe this. And then there's a podcast about it. And then you see a book somewhere. Odds are that thing is probably pretty sound. Somebody asked me recently, they said, "Do you listen to podcasts?" I said, no. Nope, none. Other than client ones when we're working on them. And they said, "Why?" And I said, because I know, it's going to sound hypocritical coming from a podcaster. You could just kind of jump on the mic, hit record, and spout some shit. Where books are well-researched. They take a long time. TED Talks are well-researched. They take a long time. That type of stuff. It's more well-vetted than other stuff. I one time listened to an audiobook. I was learning sales. I was focused on sales. And word on the street was this young man, who is now older than he was at the time, Grant Cardone, great at sales. So I bought all of his books, all of his audiobooks. And I remember just thinking, this is fucking terrible. This is, and if Grant was here, I would say, I don't like Grant. I'm not a fan of Grant. I just don't like him as a person. He just doesn't seem like a good person.
Good for you.
One of the things in the book was like lesson number 25, how to sell. When having a sales conversation with someone, after you give them the price, Alan, what you're looking for is $25,000. If the prospect responds with, "I'm not sure I can afford that," here's what you say. Just do it anyway. Wait, what? What? Somebody allowed you to put that in a book? And that was like that was the whole thing. That was the whole piece of that lesson. That's terrible. You're most likely not going to see that across a bunch of different platforms because it's terrible advice. It's not good. It's not good. If you are someone out there who is looking to learn more about sales, Phil M. Jones is your guy.
Yeah, Phil M. Jones is great.
We had him on the podcast. His work is really, really good. He's been doing this for a long time. He's one of the best in the world, and he does it ethically. Yeah. His stuff you'll probably see across platforms. But yeah, and maybe before I kick it to you, I'm sorry for epically long monologue.
No, man, you're good. Go.
I think the dangerous thing now is some of the worst advice also gets spit across a bunch of different platforms. So we're in a weird time. But yeah, there's only so many fundamentals, and there's only so many concepts. And I feel like if you can find a handful or a dozen of them and just run them, you're probably going to be way more successful than somebody who is just constantly trying to digest different concepts. There's not that many, you know?
So, for anyone watching or listening, I don't want you to try to learn everything that I'm about to say. But I'm going to go through a couple different things that I think a lot of people want to be successful at, and I'm going to go through the fundamentals. Health.
Fun with fundamentals.
Use fitness. I'll go fitness. Sleep. Hydration. Nutrition. Training. Mobility. Breath work. Supplementation. Awesome. You can zoom into each one of those. Zoom into sleep. Temperature. Amount of hours. Quality and quantity. REM sleep, deep sleep. You can zoom in. Okay, now REM sleep. Zoom into that. How do you get... Okay, blue light. All this stuff. Zoom out. All right, now we're going to go to love. Humility. Courage. Vulnerability. Trust. Effective communication. Intimacy. Awesome. You can zoom into humility. Okay, what does that mean? It means knowing you don't know everything, but knowing what you do know and having the courage to own it. Okay, boom. Okay, zoom out. Boom. All right. Health, wealth, love. Wealth. Finance. Okay, earn more. Spend less. Invest the difference. Where do you put your time and effort to make money? Where do you invest your money? Okay. Zoom out. These are all just business, branding, marketing, sales, client delivery, community. You can zoom into branding. Okay. Who you are and what you are when no one's watching, what people say and think about you when you're not there. Outside in versus inside. Okay, zoom out. All of these are just fundamental principles. The thing that I think we're trying to make land in this episode, the book that Kevin was referring to is Measure What Matters. When Emilia first suggested that book to me, it's called OKRs, Objectives and Key Results. I said, okay, duh. Which
I
now
always
you
think
know
about that when I'm reading it. I was like, was it cool when you said it? Like, did it come off as kind of cool?
Yeah, I don't know. Probably not, because I don't.
Okay, duh.
I don't know if I'm like the cool guy.
You're pretty cool.
Thanks,
hey,
man.
You're pretty cool.
I mean, I don't care about bravado or whatever, so I think I'm probably more just nerdy. But okay, duh, meaning okay. And that's probably why you're thinking it's not that valuable, too, is because, dude, we measure everything.
Well, I think...
Right? You're with an engineer, so...
7 years ago, Kev, this would be very, very, very mind-blowing. So I'm not saying it's not a good book. I don't think it's a good book for me right now where I am.
Yeah,
not that there's not a lot of value and a lot of lessons.
But, okay, what you measure, you focus on. What you focus on, you dictates what you say, think, do, feel, and believe, and which persons, places, things, and ideas you invest in, your time, effort, and money, and that determines your results. All of that stuff that I just said took a decade to really fully understand. And I'm still mastering and perfecting that behind the scenes in my real life. So the problem with fundamentals is that it takes a lifetime to learn them and a lifetime to master them. Because it's almost like every book I've ever read. So Audible right now has a 14-day sale where you can get 2 books for 1 credit. And I bought 4 books yesterday with 2 credits. Hold
on. You son of a bitch.
Yeah?
I'm not even paying for Audible. You told me we were getting rid of it. You son of a bitch. You
I never got rid of it, I don't think.
You lied to me.
I didn't know you got rid of it. I think we had that conversation. No, hold on. We had that conversation, and you said, dude, seriously, is that what we're doing?
And you said yes.
I did?
Yeah, you said you can get free books on Spotify. 100%.
Yeah, you can. Hey, you can. And then there was probably a book that I couldn't get on Spotify, and I was like,
you gotta keep the kid in the loop. I'm just out here recycling goods.
What do you do if you can't get a book?
Listen to music.
No. I meant you just buy for the book because Audible, you're not getting credits every month now, right?
No, well, I have some leftover credits, which is nice. But
yeah.
I buy books when you tell me to buy books.
So don't do it on your phone. Go on audible.com. This is not we're not getting paid for this.
No.
Everyone watching or listening. No. There's a sale right now where you can get 2 different books for 1 credit now. And it's going for 13 more days.
Kevin winks at the camera.
Amelia,
we're not getting paid for this. Hello, Spotify.
I
Hello,
bought last
Audible
night
person.
a book called How to Decide by Annie Duke. You know the book that we love,
Thinking in Bets. Yes.
Yeah, by Annie Duke. How to Decide. It's simple tools for making better choices. Love it. Now, here's the deal. Let's be honest. I'm not going to read this book and be like, oh my goodness, I had never considered a decision-making paradigm before. I had never really thought about my cost-value analysis and whatnot. It's going to be, oh, interesting. Interesting. That one little... So in the beginning of personal development and personal growth, I want to give this to everybody. Something like the 5-second rule of count down from 5 and just do it. It feels like, holy crap, that's awesome, great. And then when you get 10 years into the journey, it's like, okay, that's awesome. So I think everybody... I said awesome sarcastically. Hello, NLU listener. Thank you, as always, for listening to Next Level University. Real quick, I just want to jump in and let you know about the Next Level Dreamliner. This is a journal that I use every single day. Achieve your dreams 90 days at a time. It breaks down your dreams into goals, milestones, and daily habits. We hope you enjoy it. The link will be in the show notes. Everybody has to go on this journey. And if you take nothing else from Kevin and I today, number one, I hope you believe you can trust this podcast, because Kevin and I work really fucking hard to not say anything inaccurate on the show. I mean, really hard.
It's not easy.
I'll make really bold, awesome statements, and Kev will be like, come on, not 100% of the time. And I'm like, yeah, you're right. Okay, 90 whatever percent.
And
the point is,
same on my end.
Exactly. We're constantly checking each other to make sure that we're as accurate as possible, because we actually really do want to help. And life is a spectrum. Consider it 0 to 10. And on the 10 end, it's work hard, grind hard, never take a day off, wake up at 4 a.m., sleep when you're dead. And on the 0 end, it's everything's going to work out. You got this. Don't worry so much. And neither one of those is true. It's an equation. It's a spectrum. And Kevin and I are trying really hard to accumulate wisdom and knowledge and experience from the world, filter it through our own lives, what we've tested, experimented with, what works, what doesn't work, and give it to each of you and to ourselves on this show. And we want you to feel like you're on this growth journey. I think about this all the time. In the Conscious Couples podcast, I'm the host, and I open up with welcome to another very special episode. I can't do the intro right now because for some reason I'm not in the spot.
I know the
vibes. It's like a certain thing. But I always pre-frame the listeners. I say, listen, we're not here for any reason other than to help you improve and flourish in your intimate relationship. At NLU, we're here, Next Level U, to help you learn how to become the best version of yourself. Boom. Health, wealth, life, and love. That's all we're here to do. And you have a resource in your pocket every single day, completely free from anywhere on the planet, that Kevin and I pour our time, effort, money, heart, and soul into to guarantee that you learn all of the fundamentals over and over and over and over again. And Kevin and I spend a lot of time behind the scenes figuring out what we do and don't want to talk about. I can't even tell you how many hours we've spent like, hey, you want to talk about this? It's like, fuck that. It's like, okay, what about this? No, that's not really good for the listener. Okay, what about this? What do you learn? What am I learning? Yeah, every time. There's a lot of time behind the scenes off the microphone where we're trying to figure out the right topic, said in the right way for the right individual. And I just feel like this is and I've been listening a lot lately. I've been actually reviewing our show every single day. And it's so valuable to just chew on these topics that are so relevant and applicable. And again, of course I'm biased because it's our show, but I've listened to a lot of other podcasts, man, and I have trouble listening too, because it's not as tactful, it's not as useful, it's not as strategic, it's kind of like, hey, you have a book, come on my show.
Yeah.
And then we'll just talk about that concept, and then we'll tell some stories, and then get out of here.
Just gonna get through the 7 minutes of ads in the beginning.
Yeah, exactly.
And camera through those.
With you and I, dude, I never want to lose sight of why we're here. We're here to help you improve yourself and improve your life. And I never want to get through. I never want to fuck that up. Honestly.
Same. Every conversation is always going to be connected to growth in some way, shape, or form. Even when we're silly and we're laughing and we're giggling and we're tired, it's always going to be connected to self-awareness, self-improvement, life, love, health, wealth, ego, arrogance, confidence, belief, all that stuff. I think you make a really good point, and this was a point that I was going to make that you made before I did. Eventually, it's like just the minute changes, right? So, the first self-improvement book I ever read was Rich Dad Poor Dad. That took me from 0 to 5. Like, holy shit, this is something. Whoa, this is something. Then the next book was probably from like 5 to 6. And then eventually it was like 6 to 6.1. And then the next book was like, 6.11. Like there wasn't that much that, and I think that's just how it works. And then
when
you
read Grant's book and went back to 4.
I went back. I was like, I lost brain cells reading this book. I do not like Grant Cardone. Don't like him. Not a fan. I think it's fucking stupid. I think most of what he says is bullshit. Don't like him. I just don't like him.
Well, you do know if you don't make at least $400,000
Yeah,
a
you're
year,
a fucking
you're a
loser.
fucking loser.
Yeah, it's like Grant. One of the things I saw for him, he had a room of 100 people, and he's like, by the end of this, every single one of you could be a billionaire. It's like that's no, that's not how. No. We got to play with the numbers here.
And by the way, there's only 3,600 billionaires on planet Earth.
So you're gonna go ahead and you'll just go create another 100 today? Like, okay, good for you. I just think he's again. Allegedly, he's a grifter.
He's a blowhard.
He's a grifter. He takes people's money, and I do believe he's going through, again, allegedly, a court case right now based on that. But whatever. This isn't about Grant.
We don't like people who allegedly are taking advantage of people.
Yeah, no, not a fan.
Not a fan.
Not a fan.
That's
not
not
a fan.
how we do it.
No. I like people that are good in real life. I think that's a really good way to put it. I've been exercising a long time. There are still things like, when I turn my hand out, it feels different. You're most likely not going to do that the first time you go to the gym. That's not the way it works. You're developing a new skill. You're downloading new awarenesses. Then eventually you can make those minute changes. You can make those very, very small things that... Like imagine you're building a bridge for the first time. Thing's going to be mangled. You're not going to...
Oh, yeah.
I'm not worrying about the pitch of it so the water comes off. I don't fucking know what I'm doing. Just to get this thing up. Let's get people across it. Eventually, you get to the point where you're thinking about every centimeter because that's how good you are. That's how much awareness you have. Mm-hmm. I think learning is very similar. So you might not learn anything from a book, but it might reinforce. It might remind. You might remember, right? Remind, reinforce, remember, those are all That means coming back to you. You're not necessarily learning anything new.
I know we got to jump, but that's
the
difference between a black belt and a newbie, right? Is someone who,
yes,
the newbie might know how to grapple and know how to but they might know how to kick, but they haven't practiced that to every finite detail.
Finite,
distinct detail.
Minute or finite.
Nice. Strong. Well, shit. Okay, 2 minutes. Whenever I'm under pressure, it's like, fuck. Okay, one thing I needed to say, what was it? It was going to be super fast, and you jeffed me.
I'm sorry, I had to.
You had to. What was I going to talk
you
about?
like accuracy. I can't let you out in the world saying finite to people. We're going to lose all our credibility.
You know it. What was I going to say?
I honestly don't know because I interrupted you. I'm sorry.
What were we talking about before this?
Black belt. You're talking about black belt.
No, you. What were you talking
bridges,
about?
Building bridges and shit. Civil engineering type stuff. Books.
Oh, no.
6.1 to 6.11. Going backwards after reading
Yes,
a GC
got it.
book.
Nice. I was on a podcast yesterday. I'm going to turn on my computer because I got a call. I was on a podcast yesterday. The dude was awesome, and he was like, so you guys are leagues ahead of me. Holy crap, I'm so blown away. I was like, thank you very much. And at the end of the interview, he had one of those moments of, holy shit. Like, am I ever going to be able to get to that level? And I'm grateful. It was awesome. I mean, we, been doing this a long time, perfecting every minute detail, Kevin, minute. And he said, so you're like a podcasting genius. And I almost punted it. I was like, oh no, I mean, and then I was like, wait a minute, Alan. I said, we've failed for 10 years straight, basically, in the self-improvement space, for me, personally, because the podcast is 7 years, me 10 years. Yeah. We failed a lot. We know a lot. We know A lot, yeah. And I had to own it. I was like, yeah, I don't know if genius, but yeah, I would say probably statistically. As you can see, I'm still struggling to own it. But dude, that is true. I mean, this is all we do all the time. I did 51 last week, podcast coaching sessions, training sessions, podcasting, coaching, and training. So week over week, year over year, it's like a lawyer that's been in the industry for 25 years. You can't just make that up in 2 years. And I think that that's really important for everyone to understand, because if you want to be really successful, you're going to have to find the fundamentals and master and remaster them over and over and over again.
Practice them fundamentals. Even if you do it minutely. It's better than not doing it at all. I'm kidding. Alan and I behind the scenes.
Oh, yeah, we're good.
Alan values accuracy. The last thing in the world he wants to do is me not to call him out for a Jeffing. Minute or finite. I can understand how you get kind of caught in the middle of those two words.
Well, you look at the timer and you have 2 minutes to get out something that takes me 10.
Yeah,
that's
true.
what happened.
Well, speaking of getting you out of here, we'll get you out of here because you have a call after this. Next Level Live, April 5th, 2025, virtual event, 10 to 4, I believe it is. I said 10 to 5, but I think we changed it to 10 to 4 because we were just saying shit to messy action our way to it.
We
Link
switched
will be
it back to 10 to 5, I think.
It's 10 to 5, maybe. Whatever. Check out the landing
Whatever
page.
the show notes and the landing page say, that is the truth.
We'll have the landing page in the show notes, nextleveluniverse.com. There's an events tab. It'll be under there. And we appreciate you. Grateful for each and every one of you. As always, we love this. We're very blessed to be able to do this. And at NLU, we don't have fans. We have family. We will talk to you all tomorrow.
Keep it finute. Next Level Nation.